Hello, my fellow brothers and sisters from Africa and in Africa. How are you guys doing? I hope everyone is doing just fine. And I also hope that whatever you are doing, you are making some meaningful progress day in, day out. Like I have always said, and I keep on saying, that being successful is never an easy task. Okay? Success was never meant to be easy. Those who are successful have worked really hard and they keep on working really, really hard. It's impossible to meet a successful person who doesn't work hard. You might think that they go and sit around not doing anything, but that is a big lie. They work really, really hard, and fortunately, they are successful. And so you also can be very successful. All you need is just to work hard. And like I said, if you've done all your best, if you give in your very best, if you put in all that you could put in, whether you succeed or not, you have done your best. And that alone counts for something. And there was this post I saw on YouTube. It was the comments made by the former president of Ghana. And a lot of people shared their thoughts and opinion below this post. So first, what I will do is I will read you some of the outlines from these remarks, and then also I will read to you some of the comments. I will share with you what people are saying and what people think about the remarks shared by this former president of Ghana. So let's get on with it. Ghana's former president and the primary opposition figure, John Dramani Mahama, has expressed his opposition to LGBTQ practice, attributing it to a conflict with his Christian beliefs. Mahama stated, "The faith I have will not allow me to accept a man marrying a man and a woman marrying a woman." Speaking to a gathering of Ghanaian religious leaders on Wednesday, Mahama conveyed skepticism regarding gender identity transitions, stating, "I don't believe that anybody can get up and say, I feel like a man, although I was born a woman, and so I will change and become a man." The LGBTQ rights discourse has heightened in Ghana, with the country's parliament currently deliberating on a contentious anti-LGBTQ bill. If ignited, the legislation proposes severe penalties for LGBTQ community members, including prohibiting Ghanaians from identifying as LGBTQ and increasing the maximum sentence for same-sex activities from 3 to 5 years. This is an ongoing debate in Ghana about same-sex activities, and the Ghanaian parliament is debating this issue. Now, there are a few points I would like to share with you guys before we go to the comment section, before we hear what other people have been saying. First, how does this ban on on LGBTQ activities help Ghana move forward? Remember, Ghana is technically bankrupt. We all know that. Ghana is on a life support. If the IMF and the World Bank do not come through with their bailout, Ghana will sink. So you would think that politicians and policymakers will be discussing on how to resolve this issue in Ghana to figure out a way to right these troubling times in Ghana, but rather they will spend time and taxpayers' money deliberating on issue that does not even benefit the life of the ordinary Ghanaian. This has always been my concern. How does a ban on same-sex activities help the people in Ghana move forward? How does this get them good quality jobs? How does this make Ghana a more prosperous nation? How does this? I personally think that this is just a mispriority because MAhama here used to be the president of Ghana. What did he do for the Ghanaians? How much did he help the Ghanaians right out of poverty? How much? And he meeting with religious people and then dancing to their tune just only goes to tell us how much he wants to cement himself in power. Remember, he's just fighting for himself, right? He's just making sure that he can be viewed as a more favorable candidate within the Christian community. He is going after the Christian vote. And so he is willing to say whatever will get him the vote. He is just pandering to Christians. Whether he honestly believes what he is saying is a totally different matter altogether. But I just find it so concerning when politicians go on air, instead of talking about policies, instead of talking about how to fix Ghana, instead of talking about how to get Ghana out of this nightmare, he is out there talking about how he is against LGBTQ activities, how his personal belief does not warrant him to accept or to even view LGBTQ people in a more positive light. Like if that is a policy they have to put in place. Like if that is going to change the problems that Ghanaians are facing. Like if that is going to fit the common power in the streets. Like if that is going to help that Mama Rose who is selling pepper at the corner of the market. How will this help people in Ghana? And do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that people shouldn't talk about LGBTQ activities. That's not what I'm talking about. My problem is if we are going to make our policies about LGBTQ, what does that say about us? What kind of people are we that we will spend valuable time, we will put in valuable resources, limited resources into talking about things that does not benefit majority of the people? What kind of people are we? So let's get back to some of the comments, and I will read a few so that you guys can hear what people have been saying. So this person writes, "No worries. Supposedly, straight black men have been ruling Ghana for a while now, and much of Africa, and look at the state of it. When you have no substance, preachers and politicians know what they can always use to get applaud and allure. He is not believing in LGBTQ rights is fair because that's his own personal belief. The key word is personal. And look, I wouldn't mind quite as much if the countries saying this actually lead in development that includes healthcare for women and children, anti-assault laws against women and children, and if they were fed and housed and educated and it was a nation that determined its own fate with a great GDP from a strong, stable economy. My God is a blessed God, a mighty and powerful God. And if you are following his ways, why doesn't it ever bear fruit? Meanwhile, I bet he's very rich, and I bet his descendants are being educated outside of his country to foreign places in the West that allows and even celebrate everything he proclaims to be against. Aren't that something? This guy here make a very compelling argument. And that's the thing with African and politicians. And we Africans, we have to get educated on this small issue. Politicians and men of God know how to play over our emotions. They have understood us and they know exactly where to touch to rally us behind them. MAhama, I'm guessing, is very successful. He has embezzled a lot when he was the president. I'm guessing his family is well situated in the country. They are well taken care of. Same like those men of God he was talking with or talking to. They are so rich. Men of God in Africa are super rich. What about the rest of us? What about the rest of us? We have not become their pawn. They now use us as pawn in their chess game. They play us against each other. And they get whatever they want, and we get nothing. Nothing. So when you are out there listening to any politician, when you are out there following any man of God, ask yourself this one simple question. How does this benefit me? It's not selfish. It's not being selfish to look after yourself first. It's just a human thing to do. How does this benefit me? And if anyone calls you for being selfish, tell the person to re-examine themselves and see if they have favored other person before themselves. Let's move on to another comment. I can understand that, but I don't see the need to punish them for it. Yeah, some people say they can understand this, but what's the point of punishing them? What is the point of sending them to prison? Because remember, Africa has one of the most draconian anti-LGBTQ laws, right? They have. But has that solved the problem? Has that really solved the problem? Because if those laws were really working out, I guess most same-sex people would have become heterosexuals, I'm guessing. But let's continue. NDC seems to have taken a hard stance against LGBTQ. However, the MPP have taken a more lukewarm approach on the matter. Well, that's hard to say if they have really taken a stand or not, because they are just talking now. We don't know when they get into power what they are going to do. He continued by saying, however, whether the NDC will sing the same tune when they come to power at the end of 2024 is another issue. Yeah, if there's one thing I know about politicians is they lie like a lot. They tell us something different and they do something different. Okay, they preach to us something different, but their actions are totally different. So I have never believed a politician for a second. Never, ever. We applaud and agree with Mr. MAhama. Our stance on LGBTQ rights comes not from religious conviction. We prefer the original African spirituality, but from our culture as African people, which is a former foundation giving Pope Francis required Catholics to bless same-sex marriages. Shaky foundation is religion. What we do not support is persecution of people for identifying as or practicing homosexuality as long as they keep their backward behaviors in their private spaces. We have this compromise because we know that people will always do what makes them happy. But we want to be clear that we won't tolerate the promotion of this behavior within our communities. We have also seen people treating others like animals, beating, shaming, or even murdering because of being homosexuals. This, too, we do not support. Why would we allow others to turn us into animals when it is them not acting accordingly to their standards? And that is fair enough, that is really fair enough. The whole shaming and persecution of same-sex people in Africa is totally unfounded. And this has led to a serious issue in Africa. And I support this guy here. Just let them be. Like I have said before, if people are doing something in the private of their own homes, good and fine. If people are doing whatever they are doing and they are not hurting each other, good and fine. If two consensual adults are doing whatever they are doing, let them have it their way. But if they are grooming children, if they are kidnapping people, if they are luring people into prostitution, if they are doing human trafficking or sex trafficking, these are against the law and they should be punished severely. It doesn't matter if they are homosexuals or heterosexuals. It doesn't matter. Whoever breaks the law, whoever that goes out there and hurt another person should be held accountable. This is what I have been saying. But for people to be punished for just being themselves and doing their own thing, this is totally unfair. If you can punish same-sex people who haven't done anything to hurt you physically or emotionally or financially, what will you do to politicians who have embezzled your future, who have stolen your future, who haven't done what they are supposed to do, who have hurt you, who have taken a money that was supposed to be used to pave a road and didn't do what they were supposed to do? What will you do to those people? If you can stay out there and you can happily persecute someone who is not doing something that is directly affecting your lives, what will you do to those other people who are doing stuff that are hindering your progress? What will you do to people who are out there embezzling, stealing, looting? What will you do to them? So let's read one more comment. Everyone is entitled to have their beliefs, traditions, etc., without needing to have other nations impose their beliefs or customs on other nations. Since the majority of people in Ghana believes in marriage between men and female, I think now they can focus on more important things that they need, like infrastructures and jobs creation for the youth and other areas in their economy. In life, we have to learn to stay in our own lane. Stay focused on what your agenda is and not taking on what other groups think you are supposed to be about just because they are doing it. You can't allow peer pressure to take you off your own path. It's just like when you are in high school and your classmates want you to skip classes or go to a party when you know that you have to study for the test. So you have the courage to say, no, this is not our custom. And if other groups can't respect that, then perhaps they are not truly your friends or have your best interests at heart, because they should be okay and respect your decisions. Well, I think this one makes perfect sense. People have to choose for themselves, and I do not understand the obsession with same-sex activities in Africa. I do not understand why our politicians, instead of igniting policies that help us, the Africans, move ahead, they are obsessing about what people do in their bedrooms. I really do not get the obsession on this issue. Because if same-sex activities were something that were destructive to the nation, that were destructive to society, what about the other nations who are more friendly to same-sex activities? Are they backward in terms of development or not? Are they better than us in Africa in terms of development or not? Are they living happily and peacefully more than us or not? Just try to do the comparison. Take countries in Europe, France, Germany, America, Brazil, come to Asia, Thailand, China, Taiwan, Korea. All these countries have a more friendlier approach to same-sex activities. Are they more better in terms of infrastructure, in terms of living standard, in terms of healthcare than us? Are they better or not? Ask yourself this question. The next time someone comes and talks to you or tell you that same-sex activities is going to be the doom of Africa and Africans, point them to those countries I have just cited and let them do the comparison for themselves. Do not always listen to what I say. Do not always listen to what your preachers say. Do not always listen to what your politicians say. Do your own research, okay? Research for yourself and get the knowledge you need by yourself. But I will leave it at that, and I will just suggest that before you go out there sharing your thoughts and opinions on things, make sure you've done your research. Make sure what you're saying is factual. Don't go out there and say things that people look at you and they think you are a nobody. It's not good when you are out there saying things that you have no understanding about. But to you guys out there, let me know your take on what the former president of Ghana, MAhama, said. And do you think that we should be this obsessed about same-sex activities or not? And do you think that if, for example, all same-sex people were rounded up and they're in prison, our lives are going to be much more better? Do you think that? Do you really believe that? Let us know in the comment section below, because I always will love hearing what you have to say. Please do us a favor, like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, because that helps us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that, and like always, see you in the next one.